Somebody said, well, it's not them actually, it's Neuralink. Neuralink speaks for everybody. Somebody said, I could have just came outside. That's not how that works. Neuralink controls everything. If I hit anybody up and told them to come outside and talk to me, they would contact them right away, or have somebody contact them right away and say not to do it. And then as soon as I leave, they'd have them picked up and abused. I'm standing in Wells Fargo, I'm reading some of the signs, like, oh, so Wells Fargo could have been mail carrier, the post office. He said, no, we didn't want it like that. Shut the fuck up. Neuralink wasn't involved with that. They want everybody to believe that they're the ones who've done everything, and they're the alternate universe, and they've been running the world since its inception. But that's not what it is. They robbed everybody of everything they were doing, and they're pretending to be everybody. Also, I'm coming to terms with the fact that everybody basically just, I won't say turned on me, just helped rob me. But when they told everybody they had to leave my program, they had to go against me, everybody was willing to do it because they were told they had to. So they formed this gang, but I mean, kids still wanted to come back to me. They're being told, you have to do this, you're supposed to go against him, and he has to battle back, it's a game, stuff like that. Everybody was being manipulated, and then police were helping cover it up. The court system, Orange County, the criminal justice system of Orange County is helping cover it up. Because if I go to LA County and I tell them that, if they at least think about it, they just look into it. The reason I say Orange County is helping cover it up, District Attorney's Office first said they weren't going to investigate it. I mean, I went to the police are helping them out. Westminster PD, Garden Grove PD wouldn't do anything. Fountain Valley PD said they'd go back to where it started. Huntington Beach wouldn't help out. And then I called other ones, and I don't receive any phone calls back. The police contact them and say, we didn't do that, or the FBI agent contacts them and say, that's not what happened. We're monitoring him. They say, okay, well, we're not going to do it like that. So they don't really handle it the right way. Orange County Sheriff Department said you don't tell law enforcement, or don't tell the police when other police do something wrong. That's the thought process out here. And then, a public defender after Westminster PD arrested me, they didn't want to handle it like that at all. Like, it wouldn't even help me look at evidence at all. County is a white supremacy county. I've been here for a while. I remember going to the gym back in the day where I was the only black person that showed up. Huntington Beach. Now you see the migration of black people come into the area. So you have people who are in positions of power, who are older, of course, and a lot of them have lived in this area, and that includes judges, and they're not used to working with black people. So being a white supremacy county, people have a mainstream media mindset, and throughout their life, black people are always the bad guys. So that's how they see us. And like, nobody reigns tall in Orange County, so they can get away with stuff. And that's pretty much what's going on. So I gotta convince somebody from outside the area, or go to a city that has more black people. But that's what I'm gonna have to do to get help. Supremacy County being sheltered under the mainstream mindset. You got people who, you're a lot more cautious throughout life, so you have a lot of experiences that aren't the same as outside the area. So, when human traffickers come to your area, you're scared. And that's a part of it. I broke down white supremacy while I was locked up, and then, most people don't know that full-on definition of white supremacy. And then, speaking with Air Force Special Warfare, he didn't realize that his group was doing that to everybody by sheltering white people from everything going on in the world. He was upset with himself about it, but that's what it is. The white supremacy themselves came in to rob me, and I have to dissect them a little bit. That's why they're all scared. I don't like taking things that Neuralink says, but then I remember they only repeat things that I come up with. That's literally what it is. I'm being robbed of my entire thought process. Any analyzations that I have. But and invading everybody. And they invade everybody individually, and they get the people around you, or they'll go inside you and tell you, this person's in on it, this person's in on it, this person's in on it, and they're not at all. Well, speaking of that, it sucks when you get to, like the kids. They said one of the kids stood up to CJ last night. And I don't know where you guys are if you're saying this. I'm telling you guys I know exactly where you are and I can come in, but I'm just scared. That's not how life works. But the kid stood up to him and the other kid said, calm down, or help restrain him. So not all the kids are on the same page at the same time. All of them have thoughts of not wanting to be there, but they're like telling you we're holding your parents hostage, or they just received a blowjob from another kid who's in the same situation, or has just been manipulated into thinking they're not being trafficked or don't know what's going to happen in the future. They'll help Neuralink out, and that's the assembly line process that Elon Musk spoke about once on Twitter. I don't have that screenshot, but that's what everybody's going through. Oh, they were in my Instagram feed yesterday, and they sent a video. Germans are the best manufacturers because of the Holocaust. They did the same thing in Germany, where they got everybody to do this to themselves. That's the plan. Asian Holocaust. That's what they're working towards. Because there's so many people who get in this, and they're still doing it because they get sex out of it. So there's plenty of people, law enforcement, civilians, who basically just turned on the Asian race. I mean, you go get some guys who've never had sex before, or who just really want to have sex. I mean, I'm talking about random people. And you give them an opportunity to do it, they're going to do whatever you say. But, of course, most of them don't know the full extent of what's going on. But, I mean, there are Elon's pedophile club members who watch my phone, who know exactly what's going on. They're just fucked up individuals, and some will just do anything for the opportunity to have sex. If you remember correctly, if you've done your research on true history of America, the Klan, and Winston Churchill was the one that was going at him in public and interviews. Like a lot of the stuff they do now, people don't pay attention to. Actually, yeah, they do. There's plenty of videos of people paying attention to their ulterior motives. They were attacking Hitler and they were robbing him. They didn't want him or Germany to have an economy. He said they didn't want them to have an economy if Great Britain wasn't going to benefit off of it. And they robbed him of everything. They started the Holocaust. Anybody who knows who he really was, you're sent to a concentration camp, but they make up alternate stories. The same thing they're doing with us. They told everybody I hated Asians. It's not true at all. The kids in my basketball program that I was just using them. I didn't really care about them. When, like, they were like on a list of things that I care about, they were like up here. You can't even see it. Up here. Right. So they did it with everything. Anything I did, or I mean, they still do it. Anything I do, anything I feel strongly about, they tell people the opposite. But yeah, they did the Holocaust, and then they took everything Hitler had planned, and they did it afterwards. So that's the same thing they're trying to do with me, or doing with me. They're replicating everything that I do. But I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna kill myself. They're not gonna kill me. So they're just trying to do it in front of me, but they can't do everything because they haven't taken over everything like they tell people they have yet. This would be how easy this would be able to end. How easy we'd be able to end this if they stepped up and was really willing to fight back. But Neuralink said they don't want to live in a world where you have to fight back. What they mean by that is basically everybody depends on the police to do everything, and everybody was being told, Neuralink was saying, you have to be with the police to end this. But what they did was, you have to be with law enforcement or the military, and then you have a choice of who you're going to go to. But everybody involved was in Neuralink's pedophile club, so not actually doing their law enforcement position. They're replicating my existence, and they're doing stuff off duty as well. I mean, they do. I mean, they've gone up to Westminster High School to get blowjobs from the kids on duty or during school, stuff like that. So I mean, they still do stuff at work, but they're not being law enforcement. And some of the kids believe in that all I have to do is tell everybody everything going on. That's not how it works, especially where they're following behind me, talking to people, contacting anybody I communicate with. So I got to prove the history of that. And now I got the whole thing with the FBI agents going to Congress telling them that everything that I'm telling them actually goes on. And then I got to go through the documents on the FBI's actual website where they tell you they've done this throughout history to anybody who has positive influence, that they don't want to have it. They go and they have a reverse narrative that they spread. Military is involved. So you can see COINTELPRO, vault.fbi.gov, that everything's real. They do it, and they're not the only ones. Other law enforcement do it as well. And military personnel. But Neuralink, once again, they create a reverse narrative. They stop investigations. They do everything they can and then tell everybody, oh, they just don't want to do it for this reason, for that reason. You can't say anything bad about the FBI. Now, with the FBI, that's one thing, because if I call the FBI and I say, you have an agent that's robbing me, they'll hang up in my face. They're pretty much like contractors. They don't want to look bad. They don't want to get sued. So they'll have some agents or a representative that do that when you call them. You can call the inspector general, or call him, or leave a message or submit a form. You don't really get a response from them. And that's how it was supposed to work. Well, not that's how it's supposed to work, but you're supposed to be able to go to your local law enforcement, your county sheriff. Sheriff is the last line of defense against government gone rogue, right? They're supposed to be willing to protect. But know that there are plenty of agents who, if Neuralink hadn't cornered them or told them you have to be in the Illuminati to be involved with the situation, and then had them get a blowjob from a child and extorted them, they would have handled the case the right way. Most of them don't do that. You got to corner them and threaten to take their lives. You have Neuralink inside of them. Have them investigate. Somebody go to their house. As I said before, you've had situations where Ty Doe and the Secret Service agent have gone to police officers' houses and robbed them of their evidence, or even killed some of them. Over the past, probably like year and a half now, since they've been investigating in more detail, or since I've been packaging everything and sending it out. I started doing that when I was locked up, just writing everything. I sent a packet of like 30 pages, but we haven't been able to accomplish it yet. They already don't want to get in trouble, Elon Musk, Neuralink, and the pedophile club. But I mean, Elon Musk actually said quite a few times that he was willing to just give up. He'd go live on an island somewhere. But him and Neuralink switch back and forth. Neuralink doesn't want to give this up. So they'll push him and they'll just control everything and then not tell him everything that's going on. But they don't want the whole story to get out. When the whole story gets out, they look really bad. Basically, I was making everybody look bad. They were intimidated by me. They're saying he's a force to be reckoned with. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do that. So it makes me look really good. And then them saying, okay, everybody only wants him. We want to have sex. Nobody wants to have sex with us. So like it makes them look really pathetic. And they don't want the full story to get out because it's embarrassing. So it pushes them a little bit more. A lot of people at Neuralink who, and not just them, I mean, Elon himself saw the video where it says he used to get bullied a lot as a kid. But you got a lot of them who didn't have the lives that they wanted. Now, with me, they said, I don't get to be cool anymore. It said, it's their turn to be cool. You had sex already. It's our turn. So you'll see the personality if you have the full story of everybody who is doing this. Or everybody just hating on me. He's good. He's better than everybody at this. He can do this. We can't do this. So it props me up. They said it makes me look like a god. That's how Neuralink refers to it. And yeah, they don't want it out. They create this reverse narrative. They're trying to make me look like as big of a loser as possible, while they say, they're the ones that get to be cool. Copy my personality, copy my jokes, copy my intellect, copy everything, and make me look bad. Everybody knows there's documents out there where Elon Musk talks about how cool he was in high school and how he went to all these frat parties. And then they talk to people at the college and nobody remembers him. There's a lot of fronting going on. Everybody wants to be somebody that they're not. So that's what they do. Elon sees somebody who he thinks is cool. I want that. Take him out and I'll take over his personality. I've been seeing the Stolen from Africa video. That's pretty much what it is. Once again, it's racist as fuck. The whole thing is racist. And it's all out there. Elon Musk calling me his slave, them talking about him buying me from a slave auction. Everything is documented. It just has to, all the evidence has to be gotten out and before they can stop them from closing. This thing where everybody's concentrated or abused if they know too much information. And then their pleasure because they want them to stay. Want them to leave with a mindset of this is what I get when I do what they want. So I can't keep putting out all this information through here because then they have everybody watch it. So okay, you have too much information. Like if you know the full story, and then they're abused for it. So I have to package everything and then get it out to a large audience, and then try to get them in on what I'm trying to do at the same time, which is free everybody from this situation. And then they're going out, they're recruiting people, or they're luring people in as well, and people I don't know, and they're doing this to them. I just got to get people out of this trance. Some of these guys who came and manipulated some of these kids into giving them blowjobs, or forced them into doing it, the Secret Service agent, FBI agent, Neuralink. Then it's a thing where Neuralink, they didn't want to give it up. And they got CJ again. Or Neuralink. Neuralink says CJ was a virgin. We didn't want him to be a virgin anymore. But at the same time, the Neuralink staff that were doing this were in the same situation. So that's the thing. They said I had a life already. It's their turn to have a life, basically. They said this is Elon Musk's year. So they're robbing me of my entire life. Again, I'm the one who had people behind the who they were extorting, and again, they exposed my sexual fantasies, porn searches, stuff like that, and had people who wanted to support me, sexually, socially, economically, and they said it wasn't fair to them. They didn't have anybody to have sex with. And they said they weren't going to allow me to have it without them having it. So they invaded everybody's lives. They started doing this, and they didn't want to stop, right? They started getting more people involved, and they just got greedy. They read some of the books that I was into. They saw my thought process, started learning how the world worked, and so they said, we're just going to rob these guys. Plan, rob them of their position, rob us of everything, and they're pushing it and using Klan protocol and pretending to be them while doing all this. Started the pedophile club so they can basically, Neuralink said they wanted a place to have sex, so they got everybody basically living out their intentions, and then had the pedophile club members help them build the human trafficking ring and extort people on anything they want to do, having everybody else do it so they can get away with it. So everybody's doing it and try to get it to the point where it's so big that nobody can do anything about it. That's why I stay laser focused on the people who are actually doing it behind the scenes. But when I do that, they tell everybody, Darion's trying to get you guys in trouble, so we need you guys to help us do this. It's frustrating, but that's the whole thing. And everybody involved kind of helping Neuralink have sex. That's pretty much the gist of this entire thing. They're doing this for sex. As the quote was, they're taking over the world so they can have sex, or on their end, We don't want to not be able to have sex. I wrote down a list of quotes. I have a bunch of quotes. So I'm going to head back to LA County, try to get some work done, try to get some videos up. I was thinking I can't really just talk to people and try to get help as much as I would like to, so I want to create a better platform for myself. I was thinking too, Orange County, I was talking about the whole white supremacy thing earlier. I've been told, Garden Grove PD said stay out of Garden Grove. As an officer, a detective said, you'll never have a business in Garden Grove again. And I wasn't doing anything but helping the community. Once again, I came in, or the white supremacist group came in to rob me, started sex trafficking kids, and the police took their side because they had law enforcement that was helping. And, I get asked, well, why are you all the way in Orange County? Like, it doesn't matter. It's not up to the police, the public servants, the state of California, not just the city. That's who gives them the power, the state of California. I'm out defending the police, taking their side on a lot of things that happen in the news and videos, or saying Orange County is not racist, because I hadn't experienced it yet. They're showing me everything that I've been saying is wrong. Depends on what part of Orange County you're in. Obviously, the cultural diverse cities like Anaheim or Buena Park, you're not going to get the same kind of racism that you get when you go deeper down to the parts that aren't as multicultural. But that's just what it is. I was shocked when I had a police officer tell me to stay out of the city after I'm out here giving up my time. I'm working with kids for free, trying to help the community out, building something extremely positive, and this is the kind of attack I get from being told that I can't have everything encompassed in my life, whether it's support from the Asian community or the legacy I was building, battling through a psychological derailment that I had, just figuring it out, or building the business I was building. I said you can't have that kind of legacy as a black person and be the only one to have it, because it would kill white supremacy, or superiority over influence and intelligence. I didn't want to make this a racial thing all the way, so I avoided it for most of the situation. But it's like they pulled it out, and it sucks to have to be involved in this area as well, where I'm not going to be able to get credit for my intelligence. So I can't go into a police department and say, this is how you have to investigate. Like I called Santa Ana, and I was trying to explain to him the human trafficking process, because there was a kid that I was trying to get help, and we know how to do it. Like, you don't know how to do it. Or Garden Grove, I understand human trafficking. I arrested a pimp and prostitutes before. It's more than that. It's a lot more than that. That's why it's a different code in the penal code book. It's not the same crime. Like robbery and burglary aren't the same. People don't understand that. So it's frustrating, but I gotta be able to get somebody to understand where I'm coming from and help out in the way that's going to be efficient. I'm trying to get help from the public defender's office, because in reality, with my case, I'm trying to use coercion to commit the offense as a direct result of being a human trafficking victim, and they sent me to an incompetency class. Said I was incompetent to stand trial. It cost me 10 months of my life. I had to sit in jail and then go to a mental facility where they told me things I knew already, and then said I had to dumb down my knowledge to get out of there. Now they're trying to send me back because I told them what I'm going through. I didn't even mention Neuralink. Even though they applied to the FDA to use this technology on humans, that means they have it. But these people are going to say, oh, that technology doesn't exist. You have no idea what you're talking about. And then the other thing, too, where if they don't understand it, they're going to attack you because they don't want to feel inferior to you. And that's with everybody involved. I am a human trafficking victim, as I've been trafficked for entertainment, intelligence, and influence, and I can describe all three. And there's also sex trafficking. I myself was sex trafficked, as in the state of California. If you are, if somebody takes footage of you doing a sex act, so with me, I was masturbating in front of my phone when they first got here. They passed out a link and they're streaming it to people. That's sex trafficking in the state of California. But nobody's going to give me credit for that, especially because they don't understand. Nobody wants to go pick up a penal code book. Public Defender's Office wants me to just take a deal. I'm not going to take a deal and go to a psychological facility where I have to explain to the doctors the difference between their schizophrenia and what it really is. You know, and it's frustrating. While I was locked up, they sent me to, they 5150'd me because I sent a letter to the sheriff telling him that I needed help, telling him that there's a human trafficking ring in the area. I got robbed, and there's sex trafficking people. So they sent me to, the mental health unit, and I got 5150'd. I explained to the doctor. He says that I've never owned a business before. I'm suffering from paranoid delusions. What? I've never owned a business before? Where does that come from? You know, you get looked at a certain way, and you know, I'm not even going to go to that, but the doctor himself is the kind of person who spent all his high school years focused on school, went to college, put all his attention on school, didn't have the kind of life where he experiences things, but he comes out and makes decisions on other people's lives. He's judging people who've actually been through things because he's working in a jail, right? People who've gone through adversity. He shouldn't be allowed to be in charge of other people's lives. Time I was 5150 by Westminster PD. I walked out of court. They said, "We heard you were talking to people. You told some people some things. We want to take you to go get checked out by a doctor." That's not legal. I'm not a threat to myself or anybody else, or gravely endangered. So that wasn't legal. I got there, the mental hospital. They let me go. You can't go in there to people who are conscious of life and break down the human trafficking industry, break down what you've gone through, be able to articulate it, and have them keep you. I was 5150 by Garden Grove PD twice. First time, I called the Secret Service and told them I was going to blow up the White House. The reason why I did that is because I know they have to come out and talk to you if you threaten the White House. But right after I said, "There's my address," he said, "That's not what's really going on. What's going on with you?" I said, "I'm being held hostage by Illuminati." He said, "Okay, we'll send somebody out to talk to you." Out of respect, they call Garden Grove, let them know they're going to be in the city. Garden Grove comes out as well, and I give the full report to the Secret Service agent. We talk, he leaves. Not a big deal, right? As soon as he leaves, Garden Grove PD said his sergeant said that he had to 5150 me because I was telling the whole story. He said, "If you say Westminster PD did something to you, you must be crazy." So I was 5150 for that. And then he went, when he wrote the report, said he's going to blow up the White House. He made that the bigger deal, put that first. It's for him, or the sergeant that did it as well. Second time Garden Grove 5150 me, I had an airsoft BB gun or pellet rifle. I was at the park. According to the California Penal Code, it's completely legal because it doesn't meet the criteria of a replica firearm. They have a list of things you're not allowed to have in public parks, and that's not on it. But they 5150 me anyway, started adding stuff. Has narrow links inside of them. Yeah, that's a real life situation. They refused to help me. They wouldn't help me out with the situation. I got robbed in their city. I was renting their facility every week, city's facility, Garden Grove Rec Center. Whether it was weekends or during the week, we had our classes, interpersonal development and tutoring for the kids, or train kids. Even had an event once. I wanted to do it more, where we had just pickup games and 3-point contests. I wanted to do that a lot more. The Neuralink doesn't, or the Klan operative said that I wasn't allowed to do things for free, especially for the Asian community. So you would think that the police department would have had your back in the situation, but that's not how it worked out. That was the 4 times I was 5150 throughout this situation, which is the reason why I can't buy a real firearm to defend myself and defend everybody else against the human trafficking. Somebody said, "Why don't I do this in public?" Actually talk intellectual or explain things the way I did in this situation. That's why Neuralink is having people not talk to me. They said they didn't want anybody to know I was intelligent because they're taking everything and giving it to other people throughout their Illuminati. So if I figure out who's doing human trafficking, or I start telling people what I'm going through with the Klan invasion or anything like that, they have other people put it out in the news that somebody else is going through it, or explaining things the way I explain it. They do it through their Neuralink technology, the artificial intelligence. They upload everything that I say into their cloud and they redistribute it so they can have credit for all of it. Once again, that's the white supremacy thing. They don't want a black person to have credit for things that I say.